Okay, welcome back in. This is Lowcountry Money Talk. This is Phil Bloyd with the Revolutionary Financial Group. And we, for viewers just tuning in, have been talking about the marshmallow test. And we're still unpacking sort of how this relates to retirement, but sure. I'm excited to learn more. So walk us through this, the idea of the instant gratification versus being able to wait for delayed gratification. How does that work with pre-tax savings and retirement?
Yeah. Jessa, I think we get a little confused about tax savings and tax deferral, two different things.
True, yeah.
Okay, so as we put money into a 401k, we call it pre-tax. Another term would be tax deferral. Deferral doesn't mean that I don't have to pay taxes.
Right, it sort of feels that way because it's like, oh, we'll worry about that later.
We get lower taxes now.
You're right.
With your one marshmallow, but you don't get the second marshmallow later.
Right.
So we like the idea of 401ks because, you know, of course, if an employer is going to match, you want to get those matching funds and all that stuff.
Free money.
But today they have what they call Roth 401ks, most employers.
Okay.
So the Roth 401k would be like getting the two marshmallows.
Okay.
Because we do not take the pre-tax today. So let's say if I was making a contribution to my 401k and it was pre-tax, maybe it may defer a couple of $1,000s in taxes on this year's tax return for me.
Okay.
But that money will compound and grow and double and triple, and my partner in those gains and returns is going to be the IRS.
Right, yeah.
Because when I take $1 out of there, they're going to tax me on the whole dollar.
Right.
So they deferred a few $1,000s in potential taxes, and that $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, whatever it may be, has accumulated to where now I have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And who determines how much of that dollar that I take out of that 401k goes to the IRS, and then how much goes to me?
The IRS, right?
And they're going to be totally fair.
Right. Of course, yes.
I was just telling you before we went on air, we were talking about, I had some developers, some real estate developers come into my office, and we were talking, and they were selling some properties and they wanted to invest the monies, and we were talking about ways of investing the monies. And of course these folks, they're like small business owners. And so they had used the employee different pre-tax items, you know, for their savings. And I was telling them this very thing about how, hey, you know, we're deferring those taxes, we're not saving them, and I was showing them some better options on how to do this tax-wise and things. And when I mentioned that, hey, you know, we can count on the IRS to be fair with us, you could hear laughter like in the lobby. You know, they were laughing so hard and uncontrolled.
Right.
Because these people deal with tax issues daily.
All the time, right.
But
constantly.
even they got, you know, sucked into the idea, hey, I'm going to put these taxes off.
Right.
You know, let me just say this, like in 1913, when the 16th Amendment passed and we began taxing people's income, the first percentage rate that came out on taxes, you know, it was passed with the idea the government said, hey, I just need a little.
Just a sliver.
Just need a little bit. Yep. So 7% was the top rate. And it was only taxed to people that were on the top spectrum.
And that's it, yeah.
By the year 1916, the rate was all the way up to 80%.
Wow, just a short time out later.
3 years later. So, you know, when the government, oh, it's just going to be a little bit. We're just going to tax the people that make over $400,000 a year. And yeah, right. Okay, it's going to affect everyone.
And the debt isn't going down. So what the future holds, I mean, it could be.
Right.
It could be bad.
So, the next segment, we're going to dig down even deeper. This whole program is probably going to cover this thing.
Well, this is a great parallel you're drawing here between the two, and it does help us sort of wrap our brain around this because it is a little counterintuitive. You think, okay, we'll put the money in, we'll get taxed later, and you know, then that way the whole amount of money has its opportunity to grow. But then you're paying taxes on a bigger pot and a bigger percentage.
And when we put it in, we don't know
We don't know.
How much is going to be lost
Yeah.
to tax? We
Yeah.
didn't expect the government to be $32 trillion in debt.
Right.
And they're going to need that money.
They need to pay it back.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're going to use our tax dollars to do it. We're going to talk more about this topic after the break and hopefully what we can do about it to make smarter decisions. We'll be right back.